the Armed Forces provides amazing training.
I think about veterans as people who have already figured out how to serve.
My military skills have been essential.
Hiring veterans is a great business case. They're the best employees we have. They're flexible, hardworking, and they're used to a global workplace.
If that isn't an asset to any company, I don't know what is.
Hiring America, the award-winning television job fair for American veterans. Connecting you with companies who know your value. Learn about employers who are actively hiring today and organizations that support veterans. Your future success starts right here on Hiring America.
Hiring America, produced in partnership with DAV, fulfilling our promises to the men and women who served.
Welcome to Hiring America, the television series that helps military veterans find jobs and transition into meaningful careers. I'm Lauren Wanko. Today we're speaking with companies that are actively recruiting veterans and with organizations who serve the military community. We're also speaking with veterans like you who've made successful transitions into the civilian workforce. We'll help connect you to job openings and give you the information to get you the job you deserve. Log on to our website, hiringamerica.net, for more information and connect with us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. The Dwyer Group is a holding company of 14 service-based franchises that provide high-quality residential and commercial services worldwide. They're also an active member in the International Franchise Association, where their founder, Don Dwyer, started VetFran, the Veterans Transition Franchise Initiative. Joining us today to talk about VetFran and the incentives this program offers veterans is Mary Kennedy Thompson, Chief Operating Officer of the Dwyer Group, and also served 8 years in the United States Marine Corps. Thanks for joining us here on Hiring America.
Thank you.
Tell us more about your service and why you decided to join that branch of the military.
I believe that it's very important to want to be on the best team possible, and I've always thought that the Marine Corps was the best of the best. And as an Army brat, I thought the world of people who served and had a heart for service, and I found the Marines that I ran into, they were some of the strongest and the best and the fastest and the smartest, and I wanted to be part of that.
What did you do in the Marine Corps?
I was a logistics officer, so I was a generalist, and really my job was to take people and supplies and things from here and to bring them over here.
What would you say was the most interesting part of your job?
It's always the people. It's something else when you work with a group of people that have a common mission and a common belief and have a heart for service and want to serve their country. And I loved the people that I got to serve with.
You shared an interesting story about something that your superior said to you when you were leaving. Tell us.
So when I put in my papers to resign, my commanding officer called me in and he said, you know, if you resign, you're giving up being a general. And I said, well, sir, the way I look at it is if I don't resign, I'm giving up being the president of a corporation. And when we started our first franchise and we incorporated, I was the president of the company. And at the time, it wasn't worth anything because I hadn't built it yet. But I remember sending him a copy of the paperwork and said, see, sir, I finally made it. I'm a president of a corporation.
You made it sound so easy. You separate and you become a franchise owner. Was it as easy as it sounds?
No. There was nothing easy about it. I had never interviewed for a job. I had never had my own health insurance. I had never lived off base. And understanding I had this great support network in the Marine Corps, and I was leaving everything I knew. And I tell people I used to jump out of airplanes, and it was scarier the day I left the Marine Corps than it was the first time I jumped out of an airplane. And then when I decided I wanted to be a business owner, I knew I couldn't do it by myself. Franchising was the perfect thing for me because franchising is about systems. It's about how you do something in a way that you can repeat the success. And I grew up being a systems girl, and I think most people in the military, we believe in systems. And so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You step into a system that was a proven system that has been built by collective intelligence of the whole, that's been built over years, understanding benchmarks and what makes that successful. I loved it because all I had to do was follow the system. And when I did that, it made me outrageously successful. Now, did I have to be disciplined? Did I have to lead people? Did I need to get up early and work hard? Absolutely. But I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. And then also you have this collective whole of people. We say in franchising, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So you have this whole group of people that you can talk to and that's doing what you're doing. You say, how do you do that? I'm having trouble with this. And so this network to help support you. And then lastly, you have this collective buying power. I'm not buying mom and pop business. I'm buying with 600 of my fellow franchisees. So I buy things at a better price because I'm part of an overall brand.
How did you find your first franchise?
My husband came home one day from a chamber mixer and he had a little flyer from a company called Cookies by Design, and I looked at it and I thought, I can sell cookies, this makes sense, I get this, but I don't know how I would do it. And I turned to the last page and there were 3 magical words on the last page. It said, for franchising information.
How did that first opportunity turn into what you're doing today?
I was a multi-unit franchisee, so I opened 3 locations and was one of their largest franchisees. And our whole plan was buy them, build them, sell them. And I went to my franchisor after we had them for a number of years and said, I think we're ready to sell, we're uniquely positioned. And the franchisor said, well, if you're going to sell, would you come work for us? And I had never considered that. And I did every job in that company until I was president of that company. And then a number of years later, the Dwyer Group, whose company that I belong to now, they asked me if I would come run their largest company, which is Mr. Rooter Plumbing. And I knew cookies, I certainly didn't know plumbing. And I remember talking to Mike Bidwell, our CEO, and I said, I don't know why you're interested in me. And he said, business is business is business. And this art and the science of business.
The Dwyer Group is a holding company for 14 different franchises. Describe some of the opportunities available at these companies.
Well, there's a lot of opportunities. There's opportunities on the small business ownership franchise side, and there's opportunities on the employment side. So our brands, we fall in the repair, maintain, and enhance space. Probably anything that you need done in your home, we have a brand that does it, whether it's Molly Maid for keeping your home clean and orderly, to Grounds Guys for making sure your groundskeeping is done just right, to Mr. Rooter for fixing your plumbing, to Window Genie for keeping your windows clean, to Glass Doctor for keeping the glass in your home repaired and working well. And so if you're not somebody who's ready to buy a business, but you think you might, go work for a franchise. Get an opportunity to see business at its grassroots. It will give you a great chance to get into it.
In 1991, after the Gulf War, your founder created VetFran within the International Franchise Association. What is VetFran and how does it help veterans?
VetFran has been a strategic initiative of the IFA since 1991. Nowadays it's really cool to talk about helping our veterans, but they were doing it when it wasn't cool, when it was just something that we wanted to do the right thing. And Don Dwyer had been in the Air Force, and when Desert Storm hit, he said, I want to do something for our veterans. We've got to do better for them. And I always like to say, they have earned, and we have to give them the power to prosper. They're not looking for anything other than the opportunity. And so he got a group of franchisors together and he said, let's get together and offer discounts to veterans who want to come into small business ownership. Let's give them the best chance possible. And then now we have more than 650 franchising companies, everything from Dwyer Group brands to companies like 2 Men in a Truck, to California Closets, to Bright Star. I mean, everything from healthcare to hotels. Marriott participates in it, taking care of home services, to food restaurants, to McDonald's, across the board. These are franchisors that offer discounts to veterans to come into franchising. And VetFran is that group of franchisors that offer the discounts to those veterans, who also have mentoring programs to help veterans come in, because sometimes it's tough to be able to translate what you know and what you've done to what the civilian world does. You have it and you know it, but you don't know how to translate it. And most of our committee members are veterans ourselves, and we work to help match up veterans to franchising, whether it's in small business ownership or for jobs.
Why is the franchising industry such a good fit for military veterans?
I think it's a great fit. Veterans, they understand discipline. They understand self-starting. They understand systems. They've been working in a system. That's what the military is, a system. Franchising is systems, discipline, and having somebody who can lead a group toward a common mission. And I like hiring veterans because they're one of the few people that can say they were willing to take a bullet for their previous employer. They know commitment, and committed people can move mountains.
How does it make you feel to be able to reach out and give back to other veterans and make sure that they now find fulfilling careers after the service?
it's incredibly fulfilling to me. I remember the first day I left the Marine Corps, I don't spend much of my life living in fear. I'm not a believer that you should let fear hold you back. It's one of the most frightening moments of my life, not knowing what kind of support network I would have or what I would do. It really was. And when I finally realized I knew what I was doing, when I was settled in as a franchisee and I was a successful business owner, I made a promise to myself that if a veteran ever asked for help, I would. And when I got to start participating in VetFran, to me, it talks to my heart.
Thanks so much for joining us here on Hiring America.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now Hiring America takes you behind the scenes of an exclusive Amplify Military Spouse Career Intensive.
When I think about the power of an Amplify event, it is so empowering for the spouses because they come here with different levels of understanding and we try to push them to the next level. And they may come in with a very good understanding about a resume, but maybe they're concerned about having a personal brand. Maybe they're very good at interviewing, but they've never really given a lot of thought to their LinkedIn profile. And so it attacks the need of the individuals because we talk about so many different things.
One of the simplest yet most profound advice I came across as far as the interview process goes was do the job during the interview. It's simple, but yet some people just totally miss the mark, on that. If you do the job during the interview, you're probably going to win that job.
Speaking with words like, I will contribute this, I'm doing this for you, it's just kind of a way to really put yourself, make the interviewer feel like you're already there and you're answering questions in a way as if you're already a colleague and answering a problem that they might be trying to solve.
After the interview process, you definitely want to, again, take the opportunity to express interest in the role. And a forgotten art is that handwritten thank you note. Don't cut and copy an email thank you that you pop out to everyone. It just doesn't have the same touch.
Branding is vital to the success of a military spouse as he or she is entering back into the workforce. And when we talk about branding, it's really what do you bring to the table? What is your personal brand? I always want a military spouse to celebrate the fact that they are a military spouse. For years, military spouses had to hide in the shadows, never knowing if a military-friendly company was going to hire them, if they would actually accept the fact that they might only have them for 3 years. We now know that millennials have kind of changed the game. They are now the shortest tenure in any company, so we can go in very confidently as a military spouse.
Here's the thing we know. Military spouses are often underemployed, so we know you've taken jobs less than what you might be worth. We also know lots of spouses are away from the workforce for a good period of time for a multitude of reasons, and the reality is it doesn't matter what reason. The other fun layer that goes into military life that we've mentioned a lot over the last couple of days is moving, right? And so sometimes you're moving from Fort Polk in Leesville, Louisiana with a Walmart and a Chili's to San Antonio at Fort Sam, right? And now you're in a larger metropolitan area. But the last job you had in Leesville paid you $30,000 less because you were in tiny town USA, and we're trying to figure a lot of that out. So we're going to talk through some of that today, give you some tools to put in your toolbox in terms of salary and compensation negotiation, and we'll see where we go from here.
The thing that I recommend there is research, research, research. There are lots of websites out there that will tell you what a salary range is in a particular field. You can even go on LinkedIn and find out salary ranges for a particular company. So do your research and find out what seems to be common in that particular field and start there. Figure out if you have the skill sets that match the people working for that company. Make sure that you're in line with what they're looking for, and then figure out for yourself where you think you might fall in the salary ranges that are listed on those websites.
If I had one piece of advice to other spouses, it would definitely be to attend Amplify. If you can't attend Amplify, talk to people who have attended Amplify and get the information, network more, use those resources that we have available.
Don't be discouraged, just because something doesn't work out, just make it the best that you can. And events like this, if they become available, don't miss the opportunity.
Is until kind of recently in the last few numbers of years where we've actually reached out to the spouse community. Now there's a lot of really good programs, and Amplify is really one of the better programs.
Our hope for the military spouses that attend Amplify would be that you can leave with a clearer vision of what's possible, that we can boost your confidence, help you learn your value, and help you know what next steps you might want to take to get to that next professional journey. Obviously, our dream would be that you also walk out with a networking connection that leads you to your next job.
To learn more and find an Amplify event near you, visit hiringamerica.net/amplify.
I am a veteran, and my victory was finding the strength to be a champion.
I am a veteran. My victory is having a job I can be proud of.
America's veterans are on their most important tour, the tour of their lives.
My victory was finishing my education.
Mine is proving a disability is not a limitation.
At DAV, we're on a mission to help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
My victory is having my new battle buddy.
As veterans face their challenges, DAV is there to help for victories great and small.
I'm a veteran, and my victory is getting the help I needed to put my life back together.
DAV offers veterans of all generations a lifetime of support.
I'm a veteran. My victory is being there for my family.
When America's veterans win, we all win. Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
These career tips for military spouses and veterans are powered by USAA, a proud supporter of America's military.
A significant amount of the population is working remotely. I think there's a number of reasons for that. Amongst them is the new generation that is coming into the workforce is anticipating and demanding the ability to work remotely. I think a lot of that has to do with a desire to not be stuck in a stuffy office to do work, and folks might want to go work from a coffee shop instead. Many military spouses move from place to place on a regular basis. So many military spouses think that working remotely is going to be an answer to some of their problems. It can provide a lot of flexibility that allows somebody to work from their home, that can help them get their children to and from school, or help them have a job that's actually portable that they can keep at each location they might move to. There are some tax benefits. I think typically the biggest benefit is that companies will pay for internet access or telephone lines and they'll fully fund those activities. But working remotely can also provide a lot of unique challenges. It requires somebody to be very disciplined to make sure that they're focused on their work. It also can allow work to creep into their personal life a bit more than they might anticipate. So for me personally, I set a schedule. I try to start work by 8 a.m. every morning, and when I'm done by about 5 o'clock, I have a desk that opens and closes. I push everything into my desk and I close it up and basically hide my work stuff from me so I don't think about it. And while I'm at home because my desk is closed away, and then once it's open, I think about work. When you are working remotely, you often don't interact with anybody, so that can kind of breed a little more loneliness or isolation because you're not interacting with somebody on a daily basis. I try to go find an outlet for it. That might involve going and working from a coffee shop and putting away my computer for a minute and talking to somebody sitting next to me. It might mean I try to also find a way to have a volunteer activity that I can do where I know I'm going to be interacting with somebody on a regular basis. Working remotely does have its challenges, but there are plenty of benefits to it as well. So for example, I do not commute. My commute is dropping my kids off in the morning and coming right back home in 5 minutes. I can start my day very quickly. I can focus my day to a good 8 hours. I can find some room to complete some personal chores at the same time while I'm doing work. It just is a really good opportunity to be able to move with a job that I've really enjoyed.
Thanks for watching. The information we've just shared is all on our website, hiringamerica.net. Log on and find out about companies who are hiring veterans. And don't forget to connect with us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, where you can find helpful tips and full episodes of the show. I'm Lauren Wanko. Join us again for another episode of Hiring America.
This program is made possible by the generous support of the following companies: